people were telling us that if we need any Wurlitzer parts, we should call Morelocks because they have a lot of stuff.
I don't know why I thought they couldn't be real, or...
Nobody seemed to be able to give us a straight answer about like whether or not they were really in business still.
That's cool. They probably bought it, but I'm sure they're out of business now, or they'd moved on, or that was such a long time ago. When Wurlitzer closed, they sent out a memo to everyone. All of our parts for our organs and all of our parts for electronic pianos, that whole division, would go with Morelock's organ repair. And if you needed a pilot light in the year 1990, you'd have to call Morelock's organ service, and they would send you an invoice and mail you the part.
Before we discovered Janice, like we were trying to find like special screws. We would go to the hardware store and we'd try to explain to the people there, like, can we have this particular head of screw? And they would look like us like we're the dumbest people alive.
It wasn't until like 2016 or maybe 2018 when I had re-Googled them, got their number, and said, let me try calling them. Janice picked up the phone, and that would be Mark Morelock's daughter. And she said, how can I help you? You know, what parts do you need?
You don't have to argue with Janice because she knows that it's important for everything to match. We're on the same page when you talk to her.
So it was really cool getting the parts because they were exactly the right parts. And they were the only ones that had them.
It's after we discovered Janice, we would get keyboards in and we would see, oh my God, this thing is broken. This is so sad. And then we'd remember, oh, why don't we ask Janice if she has this? And most of the time she did.
My favorite things I bought from them was the neon pilot lights with the plastic bezels for the 140B. They were pre-made with neon bulbs inside of the bezel, so they were just like captive and they wouldn't come out. And I guess when they were designed so when the neon bulb went, you just replace the whole pilot light. So now if your neon bulb goes on that, you would cut out that bulb and put a new one in the plastic.
Before I learned about Janice, I was unsoldering connections from the tube sockets because I wanted to save them, because when you put a new tube socket in, it doesn't fit, and then you have to drill new holes. And every time you drill new holes in the chassis, you have an old hole that is open. And if things fall inside, like, you know, you have problems. When we discovered Janice, we could just buy those tube sockets.
The mounting ears fit perfect, so it was just nice getting the exact one. It even had the same manufacturer stamp in the same spot.
The best part about this was when you received these tube sockets in the mail, she put them in this like flat rectangular box, and it had like dividers like a candy box, and each tube socket was wrapped in tissue paper. And so you get this box and it's like a gift.
The transistors we would buy were just individually wrapped in static free plastic, and she had really great handwriting. She'd write down the model number.
It makes you wonder like what it was like to like fix the Wurlitzers when you could just order new parts. You could call someone and say, my 140B amp is blowing fuses, and they'd say, oh, I'm sorry, I'll send you a new 140B amp. So, you know, when you got things from Janice, you kind of felt like, you know, you were back in like the golden age.
She took real care in packing the parts, and it's just like Christmas getting those parts.
We could call them up, you know, 40 years after the factory closed and still get them for the same price that they sold them for in the 80s, because that was the other wonderful thing.
So I think those pilot lights, which in my mind are just priceless, because where are you going to get another one? I think they were 70 cents each, our price.
And we're like, Janice, we need this extremely special screw that only you have. And she'd be like, that's 90 cents.
The tube sockets, if you look on eBay, you might find one for like $40. Ours were like $1.60 for Morelocks. The knobs, which I think we bought the last ones. We got the last brown one, and I bought 4 white, 4 black, and I think they were like $2.50 each. So I think my last order from them was those 720 140B pilot lights, and I only ordered 7 of them. And a couple other things. I think I got some reed screws, and I think that was it. So then a few months later, I realized that I needed some hinges, or somebody asked me if I could replace a hinge for them. So I emailed Janice and asked them, you probably don't have these, because I'd imagine a lot of people wanted them and they're probably sold out, but do you have any of those hinges that go in the back of the 200? And she replied and said, we sold out of those, but also we sold the building and everything in it. So thank you for your business over these years, and good luck. And I was like, oh, shame about the hinges. Wait, what? I was like, can you tell me who you sold the building to? Because I think there are probably some parts that I'm going to be needing. And I guess I'd like to know who the next point of contact is so that I can continue buying parts. And then I didn't get any response at all. So I let a day go by, and then I said, I didn't want to be annoying. So I was like, oh, did you sell the parts to maybe someone who is in the keyboard industry? Maybe surely they'd want to sell them. I was thinking, like, for a markup, I'll be paying real prices now. It's fine, but at least I'll be getting the parts. And she didn't answer that either. So that was that.